schools can now directly pay their college athletes, whereas before, you had to go through a collective, like which is essentially like boosters.
What is going on, everybody?
Oh my God, that
Graveyard
was so
Sports
loud.
Shift Sports
Sports.
listeners. I am your host, Josh Graves, with my host. Yep, nailed that. Missy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, that was different. Hi. Welcome back to the Graveyard Shift. Your midnight snack of sports talk. The casual sports show for the casual sports fan.
True.
Here we are,
Casual.
back at it again for another episode.
Got it again with the white fans.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that guy? He got a lifetime supply of Vans, didn't he?
I was gonna say he's probably just living his life with his Vans, you know.
Got so many shoes in the
What else
closet.
could you need? Yeah.
So like, how do you think that works? He goes to a van store and then it's just like, hey, I'm this guy, and then shows the video, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
right this way, sir, and then he just gets to pick up what he wants.
Well, like, what is the definition of a lifetime supply?
I don't know, because are they
Is
putting
it like one pair per year?
Yeah, like, are they putting a life cycle on the shoe, and then based upon that lifetime, that's when they give you a new one? I don't know. I got questions. Here's a question. Do you have other shoes in the closet if you have that kind of a deal with Vans? Or are you just wearing Vans?
I mean, I could see a world where he's just wearing Vans.
Yeah, just on the beach wearing Vans shoes. Yeah.
It's better than flip-flops.
You really have a thing against the between
No,
the toe
it's
flip-flops.
fine. Flip-flops are fine on the beach. That's like the one time that they're okay for a man to wear flip-flops.
You know what's a superior shoe? Just the best shoe? Crocs.
Crocs?
You can do
How did I know you were going to say Crocs?
everything in those. They are the
Especially
most
in sport
versatile
mode.
shoe. Oh my gosh, yeah.
You're ready for anything.
Yeah, 4x4? Oh yeah. Go off-road. Might go hike Everest in some Crocs.
I mean, like, not a lot of arch support, so that could be a problem, but
Here's a question. Can you put crampons on your Crocs so that you
what
can
are crampons?
they're the like spiky bottoms that you use when you're climbing
You know, I
Everest?
think that's the one thing that Croc hasn't come out with yet. So they need to get on it.
Did you see their Cars collab that they did?
Did I see it?
There's a pair of Crocs that looks like Toe Mater.
I know. I would love them.
Listen, you're asking if I needed anything for like summer. I'm thinking I need some Toe Mater Crocs.
Do they have, I can't remember what all they had. Do they have Lightning McQueen and then I Could Be Sally?
I don't think they have Sally. I could be wrong here, but I know they have Lightning McQueen.
I thought that could be a cute couple outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break it out for Halloween this year. Well, silly fun time. What did we do this past week? What notable events occurred? Number one, pretty big one, Missy's birthday.
Woo! Yes, I am 28 years of age now.
How does it feel?
How do we feel? I like 28 better than 27. I just like the way it sounds. So there's that. But other than that, not really any difference.
Nah. I feel like after, you could even say 25 because, hey, you can rent a car now, But after that, it's just kind of another day,
Yeah.
And now you got until next year, but once you turn 29, you just kind of start staring down the barrel of 30. 29? Schmidt. That's a New Girl reference for anybody that doesn't understand that reference.
If they don't know that reference, then we can't help them.
Great show. Everybody should watch it. It is, one, it's just a good show to watch, but two, great background noise if you're like cleaning the house or something.
Not as good as Friends.
You got to change it up from Friends.
Okay, fair.
Ha.
Anyway.
But yeah, so this was finally a week where one of us wasn't gone on a trip. I feel like that's been a recurring theme for us since the beginning of May.
Quite exhausting.
Yeah, back to back to back to back to back, rolling. So with that, with it being Missy's birthday, with us not traveling this past week, there was only one thing for us to do last night. We restarted the Marvel movies.
Yes,
So
in timeline order.
in chronological order.
No, not chronological, in timeline order.
You right. In timeline chronological
Ding
order.
dong. Yeah. So of course, Captain America is the first one.
Mm-hmm. The first Avenger. I think that's the final total title of it. Anyways, so when we started on Iron Man, I think Iron Man's next. Arr. Shiver me timbers.
Stop.
Okay. But yeah, no, I think it's Iron Man. I think there's
we'll
a
see.
mini
Disney
series.
Plus will tell us, and then that's
big facts. That is
we'll
such a
update you
game
next
changer.
week.
It's a nice feature to have that in there.
Nice boulder.
Nice boulder. But yeah, so we restarted the Marvel movies. When I proposed that idea to you last night, I was thinking, because we've done this before, to watch Endgame when that came out. But I'm now realizing
years ago.
We're getting old here. I don't think we've done that since 2021-ish. Was the last time that we actually watched them all the way through.
That was like within the first year of dating. It was that early on that we did it.
Yeah, we were at the townhome still. Pretty nuts.
That's true. And then we moved into here in 2022. Yep. So that's
time flies, man.
Correct.
Time flies when you're not watching Marvel movies.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting old.
Well, here we go again.
Yeah, and flipping through everything that's been released, if we average like 1 or 2 movies per week, I think by next year we'll be done. So, hey, looking forward to that.
There'll be some things along the way that we need to skip. It'll be faster than that.
Yeah.
There's a few of them in there that I can't.
Some of the TV shows we can skip over.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the Loki because that was actually
Loki. We need to that
was a solid show.
Yeah.
WandaVision, solid show.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones, Hawkeye, decent. Not the best, but not the worst.
That's got our girl in it, doesn't it? Isn't that Haley Steinfeld who's the?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. Let me check.
Yeah, get a fact check on that. While you do that, I will queue up our. Oh, nice. So, as we stare at the very beautiful close-up of Missy's face.
I'm not crazy.
Oh yeah,
that's correct.
She's Hawkeye Jr. in that one.
Yes, she is Kate Bishop.
That's not to not to give any spoilers there, but she is basically like a Hawkeye Jr.
But they made her a girl.
Yeah, girl power.
Yeah. Anyway, we're getting so off topic.
Well, it was number 2 on the list of Silly Fun Time here. Final item on Silly Fun Time. Missy's gonna get golf clubs? ?
Yeah, we were about to buy them yesterday, and you were like, "No, let's wait till next week."
Just trying to be responsible. So, had to pay the house.
I want to be responsible. I don't want to be responsible.
It's like not even a fun purchase.
I want to be athletic. We also need to get stuff for vacation.
Yeah.
Anyway, golf clubs.
Anyways, golf clubs.
It's kind of crazy how it really did feel better just in the store, like holding the women's clubs. Crazy how that works.
Yeah.
When you're 6 inches taller than me, you might need different clubs than me.
Yeah.
Actually, more than that, 8 inches taller than me.
Yeah, you are a wee lad.
I'm not. I think I'm above average. Isn't average for a woman like 5'2"? Maybe it's 5'4".
I feel like it's probably closer to 5'4". I don't know. I just know guys is like 5'8".
Because
gotta get a fact check here.
Height for a woman 5'3.5".
Wow. So you are above average. Proud of you. Look at you go.
Okay.
But yeah. So pretty sweet deal at that store that we were at yesterday. It's like a local shop, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, they had a starter set of women's clubs for like $300 ish after tax.
280.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So after tax, probably close to like 310 or something. But anyways, the sweet deal that they had on them was that within 1 year, you can go back, trade those clubs in, you get the full purchase price issued as a store credit, and then you can use that towards buying a newer set of clubs. So it'll be great for you to just get into the sport, feel comfortable swinging a club, and then we can get you, probably fit for actual clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And you can
Yeah,
get
that's a
like,
crazy deal. It's
yeah,
like, why wouldn't we take that? Hopefully
yeah,
they still have that one that we were looking at next week when we go.
they should. I don't know why they like run out.
I mean, they only had one.
I bet they have more in the back. It was the cheapest set there, so I feel like they're trying to prioritize the floor space to the $2,300 set that he kept showing us on the other end.
So if you're not going to get the cheap one, you might as well go get this.
Yeah, we were flirting with the idea of this other bag that was like 500 that had a few more clubs, and he's like, "Listen, yeah, if you don't care about price, let's just walk on down back this way."
Yeah,
And oh, look, it's
those
on
were
sale. It's only
pretty.
2,200.
Those are really pretty.
I think that'd be a
I want
nicer set of
pretty
clubs than
things.
mine.
If we get me clubs, though, I need cute outfits.
Well, what I was thinking too is that there's nothing in the rule book here that we can't get you like a newer bag if you wanted a bag other than the one that the set comes with. We just have to keep that
Yeah.
bag so that we can return it a year from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at any point prior to the year. But yeah, so pretty exciting
True.
news. Missy is gonna get golf clubs. Woo!
Watch out. Better watch out for me on the course.
Yeah, you were tearing it up last time.
Four. Yeah. Um, I'm excited to see how quickly I can be better than you.
It's a really fun sport to pick up and get better at, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh
You
yeah,
seem like you have a great time.
you go to the range, everything you're doing is working great. You're hitting off a
Yes.
mat, and then you try and take
Perfect.
that onto the actual course,
Yeah.
and somehow it just goes horrifically.
Yeah.
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 But you know what? You'll always have at least one good shot while you're out there. And that's what you cling to. That's what brings you back every week. So with that being said, let's go ahead and roll into our midnight
Midnight
snacks.
snacks.
Play off
This
of
is
last
our
week's episode. Did you
yeah.
eat any snacks this week at midnight?
No, we talked about this. I don't like eating that late, except for on my birthday when it's cake.
You did have some pretty good cake and ice cream last night. I'm just gonna say it. Jenny's gooey butter cake ice cream,
It's
hands
good.
down, it is
It's
the
good.
best ice cream you can
It's a
buy
good
at the
one.
grocery store. It only
Yeah.
comes in tiny pints, kind of expensive,
Really
so good.
expensive.
You
Yeah.
you cannot, I mean, yeah, it's very expensive, but tastes great. So
Yeah.
something to be said there. My mouth is watering just talking about
You have a problem. Anyway, Rodgers
it.
officially to the Steelers.
What?
I mean, I reposted our reel of when we were talking about this before, and it's like we called it, but it's like I feel like everyone kind of already knew.
Yeah, I am
It
kind of
wasn't.
kind of upset that Rodgers didn't call us to break the news on the show.
Yeah,
So I'll have to
honestly,
hold that against them
we'll
next
have to
time we
have a next time we chit chat.
next time we hang out and
But
everything. So group chat with him and LeBron. Call back to
yeah.
an earlier episode.
Oh my God. Anyway,
Um, yeah,
he's
but
also going to minicamp. Is
what
that what I heard?
crazy? Yeah, he booked
He usually doesn't do that.
like right after officially saying he was going to go to the Steelers, he is headed to minicamp. So it is a mandatory minicamp, so he has to be there for it. But yeah,
Is it usually not mandatory? I don't know. I'm
so you
confused.
have like voluntary OTAs, but a lot of people show up for him. He did not want to go to OTAs because he is 40 years old. He has done his fair share of OTAs while in the NFL.
What's
So,
OTA?
huh?
What's OTA?
It's like optional training activity. We talked about it last week.
Oh, wow. Why would you? That's a weird acronym for it. Like,
Oh, take
call
it
it
up.
anything else.
Got it. All right. Call up Roger Goodell really quick.
Practice? Preseason practice, maybe?
Nah. Well, there is a preseason. You
That
have
acronym
OTAs.
probably isn't going to stick. I'm going to ask you about it next time.
You have mandatory minicamp. You have training camp. And then you have preseason, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So exciting.
But yeah, so he waited until after voluntary OTAs to officially sign. So
Interesting.
yeah, but I mean, because last year he had to make a emergency trip to Egypt in the middle of their mandatory minicamp. So even though he went to OTAs for the Jets, and then he was at 90% of the mandatory minicamp because he left and missed 2 days.
Why did you have to go on an emergency trip to Egypt?
It was like a pre-booked thing. I think there was going to be like a full moon over the pyramids or something like that. Are
you serious?
I'm not lying. I don't know the specifics because
he had to go to Egypt to see the full moon.
It was a pre-planned trip. He had to go to Egypt to do something.
Okay.
So he was in Egypt. He left. He missed 2 days, and then the Jets head coach at the time, Bob Saleh, was like, "Yeah, that wasn't approved. We told him he needed to be here." So he got fined. But it was like a pre-booked trip that he had. But yes, I don't know what it was. He's a hippie, you know. He's just
I know, but
he's just doing his own thing here. That's one thing you gotta commend him for. He is himself, unapologetically.
Yeah.
So Rodgers to the Steelers is official. Now, next topic here: finals for the NHL and the NBA right now are absolutely electric. You wanna break down the NHL side or the? I'll do NHL. You do NBA.
I was gonna say I'm not doing NHL because I don't know anything about hockey.
So we're 2 games into the Stanley Cup Finals here. You've got the Florida Panthers, who are the defending champs from last year, taking on the Edmonton Oilers, who have this guy. His name is Connor McDavid. He is supposed to be the next great one. He is insane to watch. He just looks like he's playing amongst a bunch of teenagers, and he is the only professional skater out there. It looks like he's doing figure skating around these guys. Is what it looks like. That's how good he is with just his handles and everything. But anyways, 2 games in here. Series is tied 1-1. Both games have gone to overtime. And both were high-scoring affairs. So pretty exciting stuff happening out there. The last game, we'll just recap that one. Florida Panthers won the last game. They were up. Oilers scored to tie it, to send it to overtime in the final 30 seconds. And then it went to double overtime before it was over. So it is some pretty exciting gameplay happening out there on the ice right now.
Well, for the NBA, the Pacers are having a pretty ridiculous run just in general. The whole postseason, I guess is the word for it I'm looking for. Game 1 against OKC. I mean, quite literally, the entire game, the Pacers were losing.
Literally.
It wasn't looking great. But they never gave up, obviously, because last second buzzer beater, Haliburton it was a 2, right? Makes a 2 to win it. The Pacers only led that game for 0.3 seconds.
That's insane.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We talked before about Haliburton being the most underrated player, or people were saying he was overrated. What did we say?
He is the most overrated all-star is what he was voted. The
other, right.
Yeah.
My memory sucks.
You're killing it.
People don't give him enough credit, is what I'm saying. That was wild.
So going into this game, Pacers were 10-point underdogs. The line was +10 on the Pacers. So I bet that. We actually went to bed somewhere in the third quarter because the Pacers could not get it within 10. Like anytime they'd cut it down to like 3 or 4, it would immediately go back up to the OKC being up by 10. So
Yeah.
they would try and chip it down, and then the spread would just continue to separate there. Um, so with that, we went to bed, and then I woke up the next day, and you know, checked the phone. Oh, a couple ESPN notifications. Let's see what's going on here. Oh my gosh, Haliburton did it again with a last second shot to win the game, put them up by 1 point. I mean, just
That's really
insanity.
crazy.
Insanity. And that has
Yeah.
happened multiple times through this set of playoffs. So,
Yeah.
believe for the game tonight, because I'm pretty sure they play tonight, they are 11-point underdogs. So,
Okay. Interesting.
yeah. But I think OKC, I think after every loss that they've had this season, they've won by 20 in the following game. So I think that's what they're banking on. And it's also still at OKC. So, yeah. Games 1 and 2 were there. But yeah, so electric. If you need it, like, I would say this too. If you're not an NHL fan and you're not an NBA fan, and those aren't two sports that you would typically watch, tune in for the finals right now for both of those. It is exciting. And the games are kind of alternating each night, so you have something to watch every night if you would like to. And the games are awesome. I mean, extremely fast-paced, both accounts. That's what the Pacers do, is they run up and down the court. NHL, it's like, I mean, it keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time because you're like, oh my gosh, like they're just going at it here. So it's been really exciting to watch. And with that, even more sports happening right now. Tennessee in the super regionals right now against Arkansas, who I was scrolling through on TikTok the other day, and I got this one video which was hyping up the series between Tennessee and Arkansas. And it was showing highlights for both teams, so I liked it without looking at the account name that had posted it. Turns out it was an Arkansas hype account. So I then proceeded to get like 4 videos in a row of Arkansas fan video type deals. I had to like start disliking them so that I could get some new stuff on the
Get
feed.
this off of my timeline.
It's just like, hey.
Yeah.
We're going the other way here with the teams.
No.
But yeah, so what I took away from those 5 videos that I watched that were Arkansas hype videos is outside of Tennessee is looked at as the villain. So that that's kind of the role we're playing, is the villains.
I don't think that's just in baseball though.
Yeah.
Would you agree or disagree? Like, I don't know. I feel like people don't like us.
Elaborate.
I just feel like people think we're overrated.
I think it's
and that we're
because
obnoxious.
For the longest time, we blindly went into every year saying this is our season, and then would go on.
Every sports fan ever for any team, though.
Here's the thing: is that we're saying it to Alabama, who at the time had Nick Saban and was actually winning national championships, and we were on a 15-game losing streak against them every year. So I think,
not anymore.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing, is that like our fans, we are diehards.
We are just stupid enough.
Yeah.
To think that we can win at everything all the time.
Because we can. Hey.
Because we've started to.
Women's softball was in College World Series. We're in super regionals, defending national champions in baseball. We made it in the first college football playoff. We were top 5 at NCAAs in swimming this year. We have the guy that set the record for he's just rolling 17s easily in the 50. Yeah.
The 50
so
free.
It's a good time to be at Tennessee. We won the Excel World Championships. I mean, come on. Not only are we super athletic.
Basketball.
Yep. Basketball. We made it to the Elite 8 this year. That was still a tough outing in that Elite 8 game, but we made it there. Still crazy. But yeah, Excel World Championships, we did win that. Call back to that. So not only are we super athletic, but also freaking smart, man. Smart on the keys. freaking the sheets. All right.
Oh
Rolling
gosh,
along
stop saying
here.
that.
Um, we have NCAA ruling as number 4, but I think we just touch on Paul Skenes really quick because that'll be a quick topic, and then we roll back to NCAA ruling.
Yeah.
So Paul Skenes, or as Missy knows him, Livy Dunn's boyfriend.
As you know, the internet knows him, Livy Dunn's boyfriend.
So Paul Skenes, he was the overall pick by the Pittsburgh Pirates a couple years ago, coming out of LSU. Dude throws gas. He's also, like, if you watch his interviews, he is one of the most boring players you could ever see. And that's why he is a perfect pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, because just the
Why is
people
he
of
boring?
Pittsburgh love this guy. But here's the issue, is that the Pirates are a team and an organization that does not like to spend money. So, throughout this whole season, their ticket sales have been way low. No one's shown up to the park to watch the games. And it's an act to try and get the owner to sell the team. Pat McAfee did a show in Pittsburgh where he had Jelly Roll perform for him, I guess a couple months ago now, it was. But anyways, during that, the whole crowd of Pittsburgh was chanting, "Sell the team." So basically, all of the Pittsburgh fans hate this owner. And I say all of this to say the owner doesn't spend money. This offseason, they knew after Paul Skenes' rookie year, which he won Rookie of the Year last year, they knew that they had a great pitcher, a great ace in Paul Skenes. What they didn't have was an offense, and that's what continued to lose them games last year. It was not the pitching, but the lack of offense. They're not getting any runs. So fast forward to this year, you're like, all right, they knew that was the issue last year. They must have spent some money and gotten some guys in the offseason that were pretty solid offensively. You would be incorrect. They did not do that. And so the current record, Skenes has started in 9 games. The record that he has when starting is 4 wins, 5 losses. So less than 500 record. But you might be thinking, oh, he just should have pitched better. No, he's averaging a 2.15 ERA, which is earned run average, which, if you want to know the math of how that works, it is earned runs divided by innings multiplied by name. Earned runs divided by innings pitched times 9. So 2.15 ERA, and then a 1.01 whip, which I had to look this up. It is a walk or hit per inning pitched. So on average, he is only walking a guy once an inning.
Not even walking. It's either a walk or a hit.
Yeah, so it is.
Someone's only getting on base once per inning.
Yeah, and so I
right?
looked up like
That's
best
how you read that?
careers. Yeah, I looked up best career stats. I was trying to find this season to figure out like who has the best this year ERA, but I couldn't find it. But if Paul Skenes pitches a 2.15 ERA for his entire career, which I know is a large ask here, he would be, I believe, in the top 10 of all time with the MLB. So just to put it in perspective, how good a 2.15 ERA is. But yeah, they're 4-5 because they cannot get the bats going for this guy. So what I've seen a lot of on Twitter this past week, or X, whatever you want to call it, is Pirates fans and just MLB fans in general requesting that the Pirates trade Skenes to a team that's actually good and get a ton of trade picks out of it or something like that, because his talent is just being wasted
Yeah,
in
that's
Pittsburgh.
sad. Yeah.
And it's tough because, like, you know, they're an old program. They're pretty historic, but they are terrible. And it doesn't seem like their owner's going to do anything to fix that. So trade him out, get some trade capital out of it, and move forward. So, all right. With all that being said, final midnight snack that we had for this week is a big one. It is a
Yeah.
big one. Would you like to intro it?
Yeah. So this is also going to double as our um, sports question mark segment this week, where we break down and just more deeply explain what's something that was going on in sports for any new fans that out there that might not know. And so this is the NCAA ruling that came out regarding NIL and paying athletes. So schools can now directly pay their college athletes, whereas before you had to go through a collective, like which is essentially like boosters, right? Um, but now the schools, starting on July 1st, are going to be able to directly pay them, like from their athletic department.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a salary cap of 20.5 million. In addition, the NCAA is going to have to pay back 2.8 billion in damages over the next 10 years for athletes that have missed out on money that they deserved.
Mm-hmm.
That's billion with a B, which is
Yep.
a lot of money.
And I believe part of that 2.8 billion is also paying for future revenues to current players.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so essentially now instead of the money coming from boosters, the money is going to be coming directly from the athletic department, which I think is going to give schools more control. Is that the way to
Mm-hmm.
explain it? Over how it's being spent.
Yeah.
So what do you have to add?
Things to add here. What I'm kind of curious. So yeah, salary cap of 20.5 million. That is to be split amongst all sports. So it's essentially a salary cap for across the board. So I am interested to see for Tennessee how will that work out since we are in everything school that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have like the Yukons who are terrible at football but really good at basketball that are gonna spend
Yeah.
probably 80 to 90% of that on just the basketball programs. So it'll be interesting to see how we balance it. But to add to it as well, there are, I think you can still get the third party deals from collectives, but that's going to be clamped down a little bit more starting after July 1st. So that's why earlier this year you had the Nico and everything like that, where they went ahead and signed all these huge name players to huge deals. You know, you're talking he requested 4 million. He's just one of many that requested upwards of 2 million per year moving forward. So you had a bunch of schools go ahead and sign those contracts because those will be grandfathered in to after the July 1st start date of this thing. But there is going to be that commission that will, I think it's called the CSC is what they're labeling it as, and it will be there to kind of enforce the 20.5 million salary cap. And I think all NIL deals moving forward have to be approved by the software that Deloitte uses, is the way that I understand it. And so they've got this metric to basically map out what that individual player's market cap is and if a deal is worth doing it or not. And if it's not worth doing it, then they will not approve it to go through. So, you know, I saw a lot of positive posts. I still think it's going to be just until, like, I don't think they can legally get rid of third party contracts. So I'm kind of curious to see how that works because, yeah, the third party contracts are coming through a collective, so it's your boosters. How do you turn that off without turning off the schools paying it? I don't know. And I feel like you're going to have, you know, the Jeremy Pruitt situation where you just got these boosters dropping off McDonald's bags of cash or something.
The way that this article is reading, it sounds like the boosters are not going to be paying them anymore. It is coming from the athletic department.
So they're done with the third party
Yeah.
collective. Interesting. Okay, so it's
Major Friday's order is a major milestone in Long push to move outdated, blah, blah, blah. There's quickly organized groups called collectives that use NIL money as a de facto salaries for their teams, in some cases paying millions of dollars, mostly to top-rated basketball and football players. Now that money will come straight from the athletic departments.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, this is huge. That's massive then.
Yeah. So, like, I'm sure that they can still make outside deals with sponsors, but in terms of what they're getting paid to play, I think that this 20.5 million is the cap and it's coming directly from the school.
So
like that's what I'm reading.
And that'll take into account, like, for example, just to use an example here, Jim Haslam of Pilot puts a lot of money in the collective to pay for these college players. So with Deloitte coming in to kind of like govern if a deal is worth it or not, Pilot Flying J could not pay Joey Aguilar an additional million per year to be a couple social media posts or something, because that'll get struck down. So I mean, I really hope that this works, because it sucks seeing guys enter the transfer portal every year and go to a new place. And you had the most recent unfortunate Nico Iamaleava situation with Tennessee that was high profile. That led to basically just us swapping quarterbacks with UCLA. But you hate seeing that kind of thing, like you want your teams to care as much about the school and the programs as you do as a fan. And so when you see them enter the transfer portal after a year or two, just to try and get more money elsewhere, kind of erodes that, So hopefully this gets us back on track here.
Yeah. We will see.
I think it also helps seeing that, like, Ohio State, who won the national championship this last year in football, did not make money as a program last year. I think they were negative 20 million or something like that. So, yeah. So I think
that's crazy.
That kind of information comes out and you're like, oh, interesting. It'll be kind of interesting to see how Nike does with Oregon out there. Phil Knight's just footing the bill right now.
Oh, yeah.
So every single athlete on their teams are just going to have Nike sponsorships, maybe.
Probably. If you go to Oregon, you will get a Nike sponsorship. Anyway, on to our next segment, Girl Dinner, where we talk about all things women's sports. So a few things happened. So the Sky played the Fever the other day. And by the way, Caitlin Clark is still out. But looks like they didn't need her because the Fever still won 79-52.
Pretty close.
So they're doing pretty dang well without their star player. Yeah. She could return as early as next week, according to the reports, but she's still out because of her quad injury.
So, she's
like on the sideline though. Like, have you seen her on the sidelines? Like all the videos of her. She's still like getting into the games. Like she's
nice.
Like she's looking like an assistant coach over there on the bench.
That's dope. I've seen her at some of the Pacers games right now in the playoffs. So
in similar news, Paige Bueckers, so she got cleared from her concussion to play. But it looks like now she might be sick, which is unfortunate timing. So
that sucks.
Today's Sunday. They play today in like an hour. So I guess by the time this episode is up, we will know if she played or not. But that's her status as of right now, is questionable due to sickness, not due to her concussion. So I guess that's still good. And then one more thing. So have you seen this picture for Texas Tech?
Yes.
She's
solid.
She's pretty solid. So Canady, I think is how you say her last name. She was the first softball player to sign a $1 million deal. I guess this year. I was going to say last year, but I guess technically it's still this year. And I guess there was a lot of question about would she enter the transfer portal. She had a really good year this year. So would she enter the transfer portal, try to get more money with, or like what was the situation going to be? But it looks like she is staying at Texas Tech with another 1 million deal. So
Yeah, and to put
first
in the
softball player to ever do it, and then the second softball player to
yeah
ever do it also.
repeat.
So
To put into perspective how good she is too, I think Texas Tech was an okay softball program, but I don't think that they were as competitive nearly as Oklahoma or as Texas is. She led them to the championship game this year, and they stretched it, but ultimately they did end up losing to their in-state rival. I would suppose they are Texas.
oh yeah, I
So
guess so. Texas. No, A
Longhorns.
and M is A&M in Texas. No, Texas A&M in Texas.
Yeah, I didn't know like
Or
who would Texas Tech's in-state rival be? I guess both of them. I don't know, but like the
I
Texas
don't
A&M
know.
rivalry is
That's a
that's huge.
yeah, yeah.
Bigger question. What's a bigger rivalry? Texas A&M or Texas Oklahoma Red River rivalry?
Oh,
I
probably
think
depends on who you ask.
that's probably true. A&M
You
fans are going
know,
to say them.
yeah, but
Oklahoma
it's
fans will say
probably
them.
not.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
Uh,
Texas has two rivals.
yeah.
Guess I never thought about that.
But I think that's the mm, I would bet prior to A&M coming to the SEC, which ended their annual play of them against Texas. I think that before that, Texas would have said that A&M was their biggest rival. But then because they didn't get to play A&M for the entirety that they were like A&M was in the SEC and Texas wasn't, them and Oklahoma became the big rivalry. And so now that Texas is in the SEC again,
Yeah.
you rekindle that Texas A&M game, and so I don't know, maybe it will become super prevalent of how deep that hatred runs between the teams. So
I
something
don't
to
know.
watch. Also, I realized we didn't mention this when we were talking about the Tennessee and the Super Regionals. You brought it up to me before the show. There are a lot of memes out there for who our starting pitcher is today, Liam Doyle. He is
Yeah.
a psycho on the mound, but it is so fun to watch.
He's a personality, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It seems like he's like the guy to get the team pumped up, though.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's
like in a good way. So
well, and two, like, so he pitched last weekend, and then for our final game to advance, game 3 against Wake Forest, um, we are, you know, he just pitched 2 days ago. So
okay.
typically you're going to rest that guy for the rest of the week until next weekend so that you can pitch him again. He's in Vitello's ear the entire time, trying to be like, "Hey, put me in. I want to be in." He wanted to play. So that was on Monday. He wanted to play Sunday when we played Wake Forest in Game 2, and Tony V was like, "No, you can't pitch tonight."
Tony B.
So what I saw was that Liam Doyle on Monday didn't ask if he could go and pitch. He just told, "Hey, I'm going to the bullpen. I'm going to go ahead and start warming up." He told them he was going to go pitch on the mound.
He told them that?
Yeah, and then he
That
could say,
I missed that.
I mean, it is awesome to see him too because he's
Yeah.
out there, he's on the mound, and they're trying to ice him, so they take a timeout like Wake Forest does while they got one of their batters up, and they're trying to ice him as a pitcher. Hey, you can't ice this guy. He coming out of that, he threw gas down straight down the middle and struck the guy out in the bottom of the 8th. He is fun to watch. And that's yeah, to your point, that's what Tony V was saying was like, sure, his pitching is great, but where he really excels is his attitude in the locker room.
It's
Like
his
he gets the
energy.
boys
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, when you're just staring down, and this kind of goes back into us being the villain, he does stare at pitchers that are trying to ice him and just cuss them out from the mound before throwing 101 down the middle. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Yeah.
is
That's
psycho.
pretty crazy behavior.
glad he's on our
You know
side,
what?
though.
He backs it up.
Yeah, I mean, on Monday, he struck the dude out in the eighth, and he's doing like a full backbend screaming into the sky. Like, he is fun to watch.
Jeez.
I'm glad he plays for Tennessee. I wouldn't want to play against him.
I don't want him anywhere else.
No.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, well, I think that's it.
Yeah.
We gotta go get ready to watch the what?
I think best meme I've seen for Liam Doyle is if you've seen Silence of the Lambs, there's a character in there called Hannibal Lecter. He is a serial killer. Anyways, he gets wheeled around like on a dolly and he's in a straitjacket with like a thing over his face. And the meme is like Tony Vitello on a microphone saying, "Bring him in." And then they wheel that guy.
That's what I was. Okay, I guess I saw the same thing, except maybe I didn't get the reference to Silence of the Lambs.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I saw too.
Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter.
Okay. I didn't get the reference because I've not. Isn't that a scary movie?
Yeah, it is a scary movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Put the lotion in the basket. But yeah, that's
anyway.
Yep. We
gotta go get ready
movie, but...
for the Wings play at 4 in 30 minutes. So we gotta go see if Paige is gonna play or not.
Well, Tennessee just started, so
this is also true.
So with that being said,
we have things to watch.
We gotta go watch.
So I don't know why we're still sitting here. Bye, guys.
Can't wait to talk to you guys about what we watch. Yeah.
See you later.
Peace.